finally getting going. So the TCG dropped the ban list literally yesterday. Already 1.7 million views. The upcoming updates on the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG for ban and limited lists are effective September 2nd, so they start tomorrow. Here, the full list will be posted on our website September 2nd, which is weird that it's never done that in recent memory, where usually when they post the ban list on social media, the site is already updated. As you see, the site is not updated yet, but they're gonna update that tomorrow. One of my things is, like, if you were able to post the ban list on social media, then why were you not able to update the website? I digress from that. So instead of looking at it from here, we're actually going to look at it from the Yu-Gi-Oh meta site, Master Duel meta. This site, if you're not hip, I'll post it in the description box. The site's really good. It talks about the Yu-Gi-Oh meta, Master Duel meta, Duel Links meta. For visual people, it does great pictures. It's really cool. So I'm gonna go through it for a little bit. I would recommend everyone look at this website. And they even post. They've already updated it too. Please note this is the TCG format. Does not apply to Master Duel. Yep. So again, I really love this site. And it goes in reverse. Usually when you look at this, it goes from forbidden to unlimited. Here it goes from newly unlimited. So Armageddon Knight goes from 2 to 3. When this card summons, send one dark monster from your deck to the grave. Good starter for dark cards. Red Rose Dragon goes from 1 to 3. Magic Spectre Kieran, it just came back last ban list, so it went from 1 to 3. If you also look down here, it's kind of cool. Gives you, again, the site's really dope. Gives you all the info, like TCG's at 3, Master Duel's at 3, OCG's at 1. I got nightmares about this card, but now it's at 3. It's something else. Perform Age Plush Fire, it just went up to 3, but it is getting errataed. So that's at 3. OCG 1, Master Duel, it's banned. Ancient Fairy Dragon went from 1 to 3. Danglong went from 1 to 3. And Time Seal went from 1 to 3. Master Duel is still banned. OCG 3, TCG 3. Semi-limited, all of the Elemental Dragons, Blaster, Redox, Tempest, Tidal, all went from 1 to 2. Lunalight went from 1 to 2. Colossus went from 1 to 2. And Ib went from 1 to 2. You still see Master Duel's banned. Master Duel's 1, 2, 3, 3. And then also it has, which is dope, has the release dates on that. We'll get more into that later. Newly limited, Eva went from 0 to 1. Snake Eyes Ash went from 3 to 1. Snake Eyes Poplar went from 3 to 1. Gimme Puppet Springs went from 3 to 1. The C version, the Chaos version, went from 3 to 1. Branded Fusion went from 3 to 1. Open the Spirit Gates went from 3 to 1. Product Prosperity went from 3 to 1. Sangan Summoning 3 to 1. The Grasslick Screener went from 0 to 1. Skill Drain went from 3 to 1. So a lot of 3 to 1s in here. The only 2 that came off the list was Grasslick Screener and Eva. Forbidden, Fiendsmith, Larsima, Apollosa, Bow the Goddess, Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend King Calamity, and Beatrice. Here's the full list right here. Forbidden, limited, semi-limited, unlimited. Really dope. Again, really plugging this site. This site's a top tier site with how they do it in the visualization of all of that. Okay. People know I follow the game pretty heavily. So I'm going to talk about some of these changes, some of the reasonings, and then just honest opinions on stuff. So we'll go backwards. So Beatrice, if you didn't know, once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one XYZ material from this card, then send one card from your deck to the graveyard. For people who knew Lavala Chain, which is still banned, it has a Lavala Chain effect, except it could do it on either player's turn. This was a staple in Burning Abyss, because it's literally Lady of the Eternal. It's a Burning Abyss card. But being able to send a card from your deck to the grave during either player's turn, and then if it has an effect that if it's sent to the grave, like a transaction rollback, things of that nature, that was really the main reason. I think it's kind of crazy. This card was released March 17th, 2016 in the TCG, and now it is gone. Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend, King Calamity came out in TCG 2016. Long story short, if you know Utopic Zexal or King of All Calamities, it's basically in the same wheelhouse. When it's synchro summoned, for the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field, and you can't activate anything in response to its activation. People have been calling for this card to be banned for a bit. The thing is, besides Centurion, who barely even, it didn't win them YCSs or anything like that, this card wasn't doing much on the competitive scene. It was not. It's banned in the TCG, OCG, and Master Duel now, so all three whammied. But with Crimson Dragon still being allowed to be unlimited, because Crimson Dragon's unlimited, you're kind of foreshadowing, you're stopping the Blue Eye stuff, the new Blue Eye support coming through the pipelines of having all their new stuff plus a Calamity lock. So that's why, get rid of it now, get taken care of. It is what it is. Appaloosa. OCG is at 3. Master Duel is at 3. Came out in 2019 for both the TCG and OCG. The original attack of this card becomes 800 times the number of link materials used. Once per chain, and your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can make this card lose automatically and then negate the activation. Appaloosa was the last one of the 3 quote-unquote generic extra deck monsters where everyone was going into Appaloosa, Borreload Savage, and Baron DeFleur. She was the last one to go in that regard. It's kind of funny how the TCG has it at has it at 0 now, but OCG and Master Duel still have it at 3. It's tough. And I'm going to get into more of my own personal stuff with ban lists. And I had a video about this on our YouTube. The last ban list, when Baron DeFleur and Borreload Savage got banned. I understand it. I do. If you have all these decks, like a Fiendsmith decks, Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, all these top decks who then they go first, they make all their stuff, then they're turbo intoing Appaloosa, Bow the Goddess, and they have their own stuff. It's very hard to get through. I get it. I truly do. And I'll talk more about it. So I understand why I had to go. It's unfortunate for anyone who just finally got an Appaloosa, because, I know they've been reprinted, so they got cheaper and cheaper. But again, not everyone buys the cards when they first come out. They wait for a couple reprints. So, and then this one cracks me up the most. Because this card literally just came out. Banlist came out the end of August. This came out on July 18th, 2024. Just a month ago. And they said, nah, you're out of here. Obviously, a game Fiendsmiths the ability to win in time, because that 1200 damage does do a lot in the time setting. So, and they weren't going to hit engravers. Engravers were what, $90 some, and then QCRs, all that. So they're still making money off of that, but they wanted to hit something, so that was their choice in the Fiendsmith thing. Again, it's good effect. Target 1-line fiend monster in your graveyard or banishment. Either add it to your hand or special summon it, and you can burn somebody, so you get retrieval and burn in the top deck. Yeah, so they got rid of it. Ash and Poplar, the reasons Link Karibo went last time, they went from 3 to 1. It's consistent now because Snake Eyes Ashes at 1-1-1 in Master Duel. Popular's at 1 in the TCG3 and the OCG3 in Master Duel. Again, I really love this site showing stuff. So, again, Snake Eye hits. Now, I know that more people wanted, like, Flameberg on, like, things of that. You gotta pick and choose your battles. They were hitting the consistency aspect of the Snake Eyes. Because me personally, I mean, I just had a video out there where I just beat the Snake Eyes with Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like, they're not as consistent now with just one of each. Obviously, there's cards to get to it. I understand that, but when you have to use the cards to get to it, when you hurt consistency, your deck still gets hurt. Like, the Game of Pup itself was to stop their OTK. Nothing more to really say in regards to that. Man, this is the card right here. Now TCG 1, OCG 1, Master Duel 1. Came on the structure. This was the card right here that no one really saw coming from the TCG aspect. But man, my personal friend group chat went absolutely crazy when this card came out. It was just... It's something, man. Because obviously you got... When you look at the top decks, Snake Eye, Fiendsmith... That could be part of Fiendsmith and Snake Eye, all that too. Yubel, Tempai, and Brandon. Hitting Brandon Fusion from 3-1 is just... man, it's tough. Again, you're used to it if you're a Master Duel player or if you're an OCG player. But if you're a TCG player and they just came out with the Ultimates and like shinier versions, if you just ponied up some money for that and now you can only use one, that is tough. That's tough. Now... In TCG, you get it ashed once, it's gone. You're good. There's some other strategies that you can do, but it's going to be like, how's that going to affect your consistency? Like, Brandon Fusion was so consistent. 3 out of 40 cards. One of them's going to get to a Brandon Fusion. Sometimes Brandon Fusion was just used to force an ash, because you know if you play Brandon Fusion, it's going to get ashed if they have it, because they don't want to deal with all the stuff, Mirror Jade, Sanctifier Dragon, and all that jazz. So... Sure, they could still do it, but it's going to be more of a pain. That's what I see with this ban list. It's more of a pain. It's more of a pain for the top decks to do stuff, and if it's more of a pain for top decks to do stuff, then it's easier to counter. Open the Spirit Gates, Yubel hit. OCG and Master, they got it 3. This card came out in 2020 in the Sacred Beast deck. And again, I'm sorry for the Sacred Beast players out there, man, because you had to take this hit. You took that hit for Yubel. If it wasn't for Yubel, this would still be a 3. But I'm sorry about you. Pride of Prosperity was the best pot card in the game. And now it's consistently all at 3. OCG, TCG, Master Duel. Sangan Summoning went to 1 of the OCGs. Still 3 at Master Duel. I'm pretty sure that'll change the next Master Duel ban list. But, again, consistency. Just hurts the Tempai Dragon consistency. That grass looks greener. Which is at $27. Oof. For people who don't know, if you have more cards in your deck than your opponent does, send cards from the top of your deck to the grave, so you have the same number of cards at deck to your opponent. I mean, this card will be very interesting. It's only at 1, so you really can't make your deck around it, but a 60 card like Light Swarm deck, just dumping all your Light Swarms in the grave, things like that, that could be very interesting. Then Skill Drain. It's at 1 across the board. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters while they're face-up on the field, but they can still activate their effects. Just limiting floodgates to 1. And that's really it. Which was interesting because the last list, the floodgate that got hit, was Summon Limit. And Summon Limit went from like 3 to Forbidden, which, okay. So now it's just like, what the issue? So starting with the ban list itself, a couple weeks back, now almost like a month back, Yu-Gi-Oh TCG, if you don't know, they're like, we see y'all, we hear some of your complaints. Don't worry, late August, we got you. we're going to drop a ban list. It gets past August 15th. People are like, all right, we're in the 20s now. This is late August. Where's the ban list? People constantly searching. Yu-Gi-Oh is also doing their stuff for the new tin coming out in September, posting almost every day, Tuesday, Thursdays, about like the new cards that are going to be in the tin, like upgraded rarity, things of that nature. People are getting pissed. We entered the last week of August, and everyone's like, where is this ban list? You said late August. This is as late as it gets. The Thursday, where they're doing the Master Duel special with the masked Master Duel player, the celebrity, guess who it is, which was Zayn from One Direction. It's casually at the bottom of the description saying that, by the way, the ban list is dropping in 2 days. And they casually talked about it on the Master Duel thing, saying, yeah, just to let you guys know, the ban list is dropping in 2 days on the 31st. It came out around 2 p.m. So, positives. I mean, Konami did have that communication at the beginning, saying we see a ban list will be coming. And they posted it in August. They did. They posted it in August. We can't say they did not. They waited till. But the thing is, and I said this on the last one, there should be someone, I'm serious, and I said again the last one, there should be a specific position where when the ban list comes out, they have a representative like talking. I'll get like millions of views on their YouTube. A little 5-10 minute thing about like what went into the process of unbanning, banning, limiting, semi-limiting cards. I think that's one of the easiest fixtures and would be fantastic. Because just think about it from a sports thing. I'm a sports guy. If you listen to the L7C podcast, heavy into sports. When they change rules in sports, usually the head rule official or commissioner or someone like that has to go out and explain why this rule was changed. Mostly it's for like the safety of the players, things of that nature. There should be a Yu-Gi-Oh rep who comes down and is like, we made these changes because of this data, XYZ, because there's so many different Yu-Gi-Oh sites that do a great job of getting data and all that stuff. And Konami, with the forefront, have the best data when they watch all these tournaments. Could be like, all right, we saw that 80% was using this and that and that. I think that'd be really dope. Gives them more of a, again, it's a competitive game, so gives more clarity. And obviously, on the Twitter, they said the full ban list is going to be posted September 2nd. You go here, it doesn't even tell you when the update will be in late August. So that's true. The next update will be in late August. When this changes, when will they say the next update is? We'll say it's late October. It's not going to be October. Late December, late January. Because we went April, June, July, August, 4 months with this ban list. So we had to wait pretty long. One of the longest waits in a while on this ban list. Just for it to come out the end of the month. And we'll start September. So if they do September, October, November, maybe December, January. So I'm going to be very interested to see when this changes what they're going to put here. I know there was also some conspiracy theorists talking about the full list will be posted. They're like, what do you mean the full list? This is the full list. So unless they had some hidden stuff, which they do not. I'm not going to be conspiracy theorists, but that would be actually hilarious if they're like, oh, we waited to hear some discourse. Here's part 2 of the ban list. But that's my biggest thing with the ban list. Have someone up there. Talk about it. Have your time. I mean, Billy Brake, all of them, the people who do announcing, they could talk. If they're in those rooms, again, I don't know if they're in those rooms, but have the head person who's in charge in that room, like, all right, we need to ban or limit X, Y, and Z, come out, make a little video saying we did this because of X, Y, and Z. It gives great transparency to the players. We hear what the human is thinking. We just don't see some tweet, and then we go from there. Now, with the ban list too, like, is it gonna change the top decks for a bit? I think so. I personally think so. I still think the top decks that are the top decks are still gonna be up there, but I don't think they're gonna be as dominant as they were. Because now without Appaloosa, like, a Snake Eyes feeling like, what are you going to end on? Like, how are you going to stop Nibiru? A lot of decks are not Nibiru-proof because one of the reasons to make Appaloosa was to make yourself Nibiru-proof. What are you going to do? Who are you going to use to stop Nibiru? So it makes those hand traps more susceptible, and you're able to use your hand traps more. And again, it's a consistency thing. It's like, all right, now they're not always open. Sure, the one time they open with something, you might be like, oh, of course, you sacked it, whatever. But I think this will help consistency-wise. Again, I don't know. We haven't had... I know people are on Nexus or EDO Pro or Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega doing stuff with the new combos. And they're just like, oh, yeah. And those videos, too, I really don't like because they're just like, oh, yeah, we're able to still get to this thing. But you were doing that just, practicing. You weren't playing against someone. And you made the card, you made the hand the way that you needed to make it to show that combo. So it's like, let's wait and see after this week. Well, it starts on the 2nd, but Worlds is this week. So we'll see some regional stuff. All the YouTubers will post the regional stuff. We'll see. But after Worlds, when this stuff gets rolling, we'll see what's really doing things. Like, we got to get into real games before we can make assumptions like, all right, this stuff is still really good, or this stuff's really bad. Like, on paper, too, it's like, okay, like, stuff with, like, Ava. This helps Drytron. Drytron's basically a full power low-key. So, could they come back and do things? I don't want to put any ideas out there, too, but Time Seal. If you're an old school player, it's banned at Master Duel, which I didn't even realize. If you're an old school player, you skip your draw phase of your opponent's next turn. 3 of them now? Is that something Labyrinth pulls in? Labyrinth, notorious for using normal trap cards, traps, getting them out there. What if a Labyrinth player pulls out a Time Seal on you? What are you going to do? Is that a possibility? You don't know. There's going to be so many people right now in the kitchen cooking their new... And again, I just hate Kieran from a personal thing because that card causes hell. But there's cards that are a lot stronger than it now. OCG, they still have it at 1. What are you going to do? You got to let people cook, see what they can make. We got the reprints coming in September this month in a couple weeks. Then we have Rage of the Abyss in October. And that's where things will change because we're getting new cards in Rage of the Abyss, new sets, all of that. Those things always change. After Rage of the Abyss comes out and people mix and match, we'll see. We will see what is really doing things. What are going to be the top decks when the YCSs come. The first YCS post the ban list. That's always going to be super telling of who's topping and whatnot. And then we'll go from there. I don't think... Is it a perfect list? No. There's no list that will ever be perfect. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Players in general just need to understand nothing will ever be a perfect list. The only perfect list is if everything that you predict on your YouTube video happens. Then you'll say it's a perfect list because you'll look like a prophet and everyone will come follow you. But is it a terrible list? No, it is not a terrible list. A terrible list would have been having us wait and gassing this up, saying that we hear you, and then only one card's banned and everything stays the same. That would be terrible. But it wasn't like that at all. So, if we go back to this list, this was last year's. This is actually cool. You can click here. This was last time, where these were the 4 bans. Link, Baron, Savage, Summon Link. Then Limited, Protos, Kieran. And then we went from that. That's where we were at last time. And then you just go back again. Yeah, this was goodness gracious, the Shizu tier element. Like then you had all these cards banned, and then we had Snatch Deal goes in, all this, but all the floodgates put to 1, unlimited mind control, Sprite Starter, Upstart Goblin, Casteria Unicorn, things like that. So we gotta wait and see. I think, depending on what happens at these next YCSs, with what Rage of the Abyss does, what people come up with, these cards will be hit again. These decks can be hit again. And yeah, I just think, and this is like all the cards forbidden. We just gotta wait and see. Now, for the fun part too. Cards I think that need to come off this ban list. And this is a perfect illustration because it shows all the cards that are forbidden in the game right now. So, let me start off with number 1, which I always start off with. Where is it? Heavy Storm. Why are we not back? OCG's at 1. Master Duel's at 1. This card came out in 2022. We already have Harpy's Feather Duster. We already have Lightning Storms. Come on. Let Heavy Storm come back. Giant True Name, you can return all the spells and traps and activate them again. But I think Heavy Storm should come back. I think it's time. I wish on these Forbidden they would let more off the list. More off the list. Obviously, I'm always going to shout for my guy Link Karibo. OCG's at 3. Master Duel's at 3. So we're at 0-3-3. Nah. I understand he was banned because of the Snake Eye stuff and the level 1s and all of that, but they just got hit to 1. I mean, Link Karibo's had no really issues in the OCG or Master Duel. It's time for Link Karibo to come back off his short stay. He shouldn't have even been gone in the first place. I'll die on that one. Is it time, too, for Samorg to come back? I think Samorg can come back, too. He's at 3 in the OC. When I see 3 and 3, I'm like, all right, you kind of need to come back. I think Flunderies and all of that are way past time. So I think that Samorg can come back. Same with the counterpart. Barrier Statue's banned everywhere, so I don't think we can do that. I think if you keep Barrier Statue banned, I think some more could come back. That's just me. Man, Chaos Ruler, Magical Dragon, he's banned in all places. That was one of my favorite synchros, but gone everywhere. Branded Expulsion's at 3 in the OCG, but banned in the other 2 places. And also, too, with people complaining for the TCG, this card still ain't here. TCG, we got it at 0. OCG and Master Duel, they got it at 3. And the world would have been going ballistic if this card would have came back. And thinking about Galaxy Tomahawk, I think Galaxy Tomahawk could come back. Who else? Rotate, no. Maybe Prank King Meow Meow, maybe. Like, I also feel like too, like maybe it's like, oh, you've done a couple formats away, it's time to bring it back type thing. OCG's at 3, 1. So then unlimiteds, well, limited to unlimited. No, he's at 1 everywhere. I don't think. Oh, that's cool. That's a different artwork. Cyberjar, only TCG at 1. No one else has released it yet. It's not doing absolutely nothing in the TCG right now. Morphing Jar's at 1. Yeah, I don't think there's anything particular at 1. I would have just been like put to 3. Again, my biggest ones: Heavy Storm, Samorg, Link Karibo. I sold 1, maybe? It's at 3 and 3. Horizon's at 3 and 3. Jeez. I almost thought about True Name. Dimension Fusion. Speaking of Dimension, Return of Different Dimension. We ever think about the bringing those back? I also got to shout out to my guy Mitch Oso. He wants Red Reboot back. OCG's at 1. Master Duel's at 2. We got it at 0. Maybe. Verte. We don't need Verte back. So I would just. That's what the ban list for me. I'm always excited about what's coming back. Cybersign came out for a little bit, and then they said, yeah, you got to go back. Fiber Jar is probably never coming back. Last turn, I would love a last turn. That'd be hilarious. Mystic Mine. Mirage and Nightmare. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, man. I don't think they're going to bring any match winners back. Ultimate Offering. Like Summon Limit. This is so crazy how it went from 3 to 0, but everyone else just has it at 1. That would be wild. So. And then semi-limited. I think Lightning Storm could be at 3. I think Pankatrops can be at 3. Oh, no. There's one to bring from 1 to 3 because I got to shout out to my guy. Miscellaneous Source. Shout out to my guy, anime expert Cedric Ware. OCG's at 3. Master Duel's at 3. TCG's at 1. I think you could put it to 2 the next list, but unban it. Like, sure, gives dinosaurs what they need, but with the stuff now, you're not going to side deck against dinosaurs. So, let them have it at 3. That's what I believe. I had to shout out my guy. I shouted out Mitch for Red Reboot, so I had to shout out Cedric for Miscellaneous Saurus. Foolish. Final Countdown's at 3 in the OCG and Master Duel. Might as well, man. Put it to 3. I mean, Emerald's at 3 at Master Duel, 3 in OCG. Might as well put that to 3 too. Now I'm looking at this stuff. Ooh. I mean, that'd make it very consistent. Maybe a 2. Try it out at 2. Then if it's bad at 2, just put it back down to 1. It's not like they've done it before. Master Duel card in Mize is banned. OCG 3. Chain Strike 331. Chaos Space 123. Again, I really love this site, so you're able to see how much what all the other stuff are. Princess. Sangan Summoning Master Duel 3 OCG. Okay. But those are the cards who I think should come back. I said this before too. My stuff with Konami, with the Appaloosa, Baron the Floor, and Savage being gone. My biggest problem is because, again, I am looking out. When people do ban lists, they're looking out for the competitive player. What's the competitive player going to do? Yada, yada, yada. The competitive player, which rightfully so. They're the ones who go to the YCSs. They're the ones who are getting featured on the feature matches. They're the ones who were clicking on their videos to hear their thoughts on the game. I look at it from an average player, and not an average player in terms of skill, from a financial standpoint. Or just from kids, too. If you're a parent and you have kids who are into the game and your kids aren't buying these cards, you're the ones buying these cards. My problem is that Konami, when they reprint these top cards to hell, that's when they'll be like, all right, it's time for them to go. Savage came out 2019. Appaloosa came out 2019. Where's Baron? Where's Baron the Floor? Baron the Floor came out 2021. All these cards at the top of their stuff were very expensive. They've all been reprinted to hell. They've been in the rarity collection, so now you're able to get all these different rarities for cheap. Life is great. And then you ban them. So that kid or that adult who finally had the money to it worked their way that they were able to get it, and they weren't able to play it for a bit because it was banned, while the competitive players have been playing it for years. And then it got banned, so it really didn't do nothing to them. But that's where I kind of don't like it. Like, if you're going to reprint top cards to be accessible to everyone, don't ban it right away after that. Or if you're not going to, if you know you're going to ban it, just ban it and get it over with. Don't have us spending or waiting for a Rarity Collection 6 for a card to come out, and then 2 weeks later it's banned. It's like, why did I spend that money on that QCR? Electromite 2, I think it should come to 1. Just another one, too. Let's get that done. That's my thing, man. I think, again, I said this last video. It's going to be in the description box when you're watching this on YouTube or things like that. When you're thinking of the ban list, there's so many different aspects of it. Competitive player side, casual player side, their financial side. They got to put all those things into an account. That's why I wish we had, whoever's on the Konami board that bans stuff, just talk. Just let us know what's going down. Because it would be a great thing. Also, if I wanted to show something. Nintendo, if I do, Konami stock was actually going... so 1 month ago, it was actually going up. For people who didn't know, 52 was 24, 43. Went up 5.5 past month. Obviously, this isn't showing because it's closed right now. But it went up a month ago. Went up 6 months ago. Year to date. Year ago. 5 years ago. Max all time. The reason I'm showing that too is that, guys, I get it. Some people are happy about the bans. Some people are not happy about the bans. It is not doom or gloom. This game is not magically going to just die tomorrow. Like, I know there's been a lot of people saying, oh, woe is me, Yu-Gi-Oh's dying. Again, I'm from the sports world, man. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye fan. We do the Buckeye podcast. We don't win by 50, the world's dying. The world is over. Trust me. I know that tree better than probably any Yu-Gi-Oh player, doom and gloom, overreacting out there, being an Ohio State football fan. But once you take it back, this is actually cool too. Previously, new stats. Again, I love this site. Love it. Can you show history? Oh, okay. That's cool. That's dope. We got to take it with a grain of salt. Things are going to come. It's all going to work its way out. New cards are going to come back. We're going to be super excited. We're going to be sitting here in wintertime next beginning of 2025. Again, we don't know when the Blue Eyes stuff's coming out. We're going to be talking about Blue Eyes being a meta contender, being a YCS winner potentially. How cool is that going to be? We still don't know the final card coming in the Blue Eyes stuff. The Blue Eyes stuff in the OCG comes out this week, the Week of Worlds. We have no idea when it comes out for us, but how cool is that going to be next year? We're talking about Blue Eyes being meta, and that's the thing. Like, these anime decks, since Vrains, like, all the Vrains anime decks have done well and have won championships. But Yubel, pure anime deck, 16 years, fantastic, doing great. Blue Eyes is going to do really good. I really believe that, even without the Calamity Lock. So we got anime decks coming back. We just have to be patient. And I know being patient is foreign to a lot of us because we want our stuff now, especially when it comes to a ban list. I don't think the game's ruined. The game may be ruined if you're only thinking about, if you're playing on the super, super competitive thing, then maybe, but this game's not ruined because you guys are good enough to know what you're doing. For me personally, the game is just fine because I do so many fun format of things with my friends. I mean, Duel Day, which we talked about last time I was on stream, the triple threat duels, all that. We do fun stuff, so it's never going to really... Now, of course, some of our cards get hit too, but it is what it is. Now, the only other thing with the Konami thing, again, reiterate, if you're going to just put a date, because then no one would have been complaining. You said late August, and people arguing about late August, all that stuff. Just put an exact date, 2 p.m. this date, and get it done with a nice, simple thing. You guys are a billion-dollar company. You know what you're doing. You can do that. Be more transparent. And yeah, that's really it. And then with the prize money and all that stuff, I know people have been complaining about that too. How they just give out Nintendo Switches and all of that. 2020 when Nintendo Switches, because of COVID, trust me, I was there. You couldn't find these things. You couldn't find PS5s, all that. That would have been crazy stuff. Now, I do think with the money that this place makes, you should give out some decent prize money. I mean, that's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really. If you watched the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, Joey got that star chip from Yu-Gi to enter the tournament because the prize money was $3 million. Again, I'm not saying Konami should do $3 million prizes, but he entered that tournament so he could pay for his sister's surgery. Obviously, Yugi entered it so he could get his grandpa back, and Yugi wins. He doesn't even take the money. He gives the money to Joey so his sister get his surgery. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was based on prize money like that. Which is hilarious because they don't give prize money. Like, it's based on prizes. You got to win a big trophy. You got to get some prize money. I think winners of YCSs should get, if you're getting multiple switches, I think they should get $1,500. Big YCSs, I think the world champ should get $2 to $3K. Y'all could swing that. You're making everyone travel, things of that nature. I think if a YCS winner, 15, world champ, 2 to 3K, plus the switches, plus the rare cards, plus the stuff, I think that'd be dope. Start off like that, and then you could raise it up and all that. I mean, and again, I don't do it to any means the stands of like a game shop or anything like that, but I personally spend maybe 1 to 2, 300 maybe ish bucks hosting the dual day. And that's just with like 10 to 12 to maybe 4 to 5. And that's a 6 to 7 hour event. I'm spending that, so I know Konami's got it. So you should definitely put out more prize money on that regard. Moral of the story, banlist is out. Let's see how it goes. The world is not over. You wanted changes. It did happen. Let's take a deep breath. Let's not overreact. If you've seen the memes, people are like, oh, it did great. Oh, it did nothing. Yu-Gi-Oh! The fan base is so crazy because it's like it's any fan base. Half think it's great, half thinks it sucks. Middle are just like, let's take a deep breath. Let's see what happens. But every time, man, we get to a ban list, someone's stuff is going to get hit. It's just the way it is. Some hits don't make sense. That's just the way it is. But they don't make sense because we're just seeing it on the screen. We're not seeing it. We're not hearing about it from the person. That's the thing with that. But that's really it for my ban list and prize money and all that stuff too. We just gotta relax, man. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna get one duel. I'm gonna get one duel in. Maybe 3. Who knows? And then I'm gonna sign off here. Do I want to debut this? Yeah, we're already here. My thing now, again, I'm interested to see what really is going to be the top deck. Is it really going to still be Snake Eyes? I think it's going to be Yubel. I do think it's going to be Yubel. This hand is god-awful. But we got to wait and see, man. Especially with new cards coming in Rage of the Abyss. And then let's look at... while this person's going... Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS schedule. Alright. We already had Sacramento. We got the Team YCS September 28th, 29th in Santiago, Chile. We have 2 YCSs in October? Oh. Okay. We got YCS Cancun, Mexico, and YCS Niagara Falls. Both back-to-back? Is that both back-to-back weekends? That's back-to-back. Wow. Whew. That is going to be something. Let me just look up Rage of the Abyss. Because I know it comes out If I do remember, it comes out October 11th, 12th because they got a lot of L7C stuff with like Xenoverse and all this stuff. Xenoverse, Sparking Zero coming out. All right, let me actually do my turn here. Oh, well, this isn't the complete version by any means, but this is the new Blue Eyes stuff. The problem is I already have True Light, so this is actually kind of unfortunate. All right. Okay. We're gonna ash this probably. Alright, Salmon Great Roar. That is fine. Activate Bingo Machine. Go! 1, 2. 3. Ah, that is not the one we wanted. Activate. 1, 2. Special summon. Should probably just attack. What the hell? Okay. Okay. What can I activate? Sure. Alright. So Rage of the Abyss is the 11th. That YCS in Niagara's on the 12th. They are probably going to make that legal. They did that with Infinite Forbidden. No, it's fine. They did that with Infinite Forbidden, so Rage of the Abyss's first debut will probably be YCS Niagara Falls. And the first, I guess the team YCS is September 28th. We'll see what the new ban list does. And the Cancun and Mexico will be the first individuals. That's interesting. And then we have it all the way up to here. And then we always know that we know Worlds is this weekend. Which I'm excited for Worlds. I am. I am excited for the World Championship. Yeah, this weekend. Can't wait. It's not coming soon. It's this weekend. But that's interesting. Rage of the Abyss will come out right that Friday of a YCS, Niagara Falls. I actually need to. This will actually probably be the only duel I could do at this moment. I will be back later. I will do some duels on like Master Duel and all that, continuing my talk about the ban list and all of that. But I want to get my initial thoughts. I just think we need to take it and relax. Let's see what happens. And I am not a Konami defender at all. Again, you've heard me in past 2 videos. I've talked about the ban list. I want them to have someone out there explaining why things should get banned. That is my thoughts. What are we making here? Heat Leo. All right, what's happening here? That's fine, man. I will activate this. Oh, boy. Our captain is hot, man. He is a big branded player. Again, I would really, anyone who really wants to be in the know at Yu-Gi-Oh, visual learner, things like that, this is definitely the site. Definitely the site for you.